Welcome to the quick hitter version of Pure Thoughts. I'm Bruce Bernstein. Our featured discussion this week is with two super New York Knicks fans, Michael Jackson, also known as MJ, and Barry Sachs. And one of the topics we discussed was how, even though Brooklyn's really good, they're never going to be New York's team. I want to ask you about that other team, okay, across the bridge, right? I mean, you guys are, I would call you like, OGs when it comes to Knicks fans. But a lot of the Brooklyn fans, hey, you guys still look at the Brooklyn Nets and you say, oh, no, that's the New Jersey Nets, right? I mean, they're never going to be number one in New York City, will they? I mean, it's always like the Clippers will never be number one in LA. The Nets will never be number one in New York. Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct.
So tell me why, and doesn't matter how many banners the new big three in Brooklyn win. This is a New York town.
Well, here's the mistake that they made. Now, when they played in the ABA, they were the New York Nets. When they went to New Jersey, obviously New Jersey Nets. Now, when they went to Brooklyn, they should have gone back to the New York Nets name. But they said, no, we're going to be a Brooklyn Nets. We're going to, we want to identify ourselves in Brooklyn. Okay, fine. That was a mistake they made. Now, if they didn't make that mistake and they just went with the New York Nets and rep the entire state, not just the city or the borough of Brooklyn, I think that they would have had a better chance of being able to creep into Knicks territory. But there's history there. I mean, you can't just come into a new situation and say, hey, we're going to take over just because we have new players. No, not going to happen. There's too much history with Knicks fans and heartbreak. Barry talked about it earlier with the finger roll and the losses and, not having a title since 1973. There's too much history there for that team to not be a Knicks town team anymore. Or did I say that right? And yeah, something like that. But you know what I'm saying.
Barry? I'm sorry. I thought you were first.
No, just too much history. It's not going to happen.
Barry, your thoughts?
Like we talked about before. I mean, there's nothing better in New York than a big Knicks game, period. Madison Square Garden. The Barclays Center is not it. Hey, look, they got a lot of talent over there, and they're going to make a run. They might win the title. I hope not. I root against them every night. I would like them to go winless. I thought KD handled the situation poorly. Look, he wants to go play for them, then go. But be respectful about things and, be humble. And I mean, he kind of he kind of disrespected the Knicks in that whole process. And we won't forget that. So I root against them every night, anybody but the Nets. But no, they will never own the city. It's always been a Knick town. And again, I go back to Zion, the guy it was like the greatest night of his life playing as a pro at Madison Square Garden. You're just not getting that feeling over at the Barclays Center. And we'll see where it goes. Like I said, let's play. Let's see how good they really are.
When you look at all of the teams in New York City area, you got, your hockey teams, you got your NBA, NFL. When the Knicks are rocking, there's no better team across all the four major sports. There's no. It's just there's a different energy. As you say, keep the same energy. No, keep the best energy with this team. There's nothing better than a New York Knicks playoff game. We haven't seen one in a while, but when the city, I'm just excited. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's electric.
I'm excited. There's nothing better, and I can't wait. And I want the Brooklyn Nets too, just because I want to see if we could just shut them up.
Hey, B, as a Celtic fan.
Yes.
Were you sad when Kyrie left?
Yes, I was, because I wanted Kyrie to stay, because I was hoping that, what he said when he addressed the season ticket event that night, where he said, hey, I'm planning to resign if you guys will have me. But it just was like, okay, great. You want to be here? You're so, you're good. I mean, I'll live with some of your, drama, whatever, because you're so damn good. And then when he left the way he left, it was like, well, you know what? I mean, look, I'm not quite sure Kyrie isn't, I get a little bit of a Ron Artest vibe from Kyrie sometimes, and that I think he's a little bit close to every so often just going off the rails, and he needs to be kind of brought back on. But talent-wise, I would have loved if he would have stayed. Didn't work out that way. In some ways, I think that was almost like a basketball karma revenge on Danny Ainge for the way he treated Isaiah Thomas as part of that whole process. Because Isaiah Thomas left it all on the court for Boston. He gave them everything he had. And the way he was sort of treated like just a commodity in that whole Kyrie thing, it was almost like the basketball gods were paying Danny Ainge back for doing wrong by Isaiah Thomas.
I think he's a really talented player, but I think he's a harm. I don't think he's good for the culture. I don't think he helps the locker room. No, I'm hoping it all collapses on him.
If you want to hear more from Super Knicks fans, Barry Sachs, Michael Jackson, and myself, check out the full version of Pure Thoughts from Pure Hoops Media. You can also see a lot of great Pure Hoops Media segments on our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and search Pure Hoops Media.